So here's the team picture. See a lot of young faces here. At the bottom it says in loving memory of Esteban Delgado, which we'll get into. Here we got the offensive line. All work, no glory versus Jordan. Could you guys name the guys on the line right here?
At least the right side.
I think in this picture, Efrain was playing.
Yeah,
it looks like Efrain.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Villalobos.
Medina.
Who's that?
Tony Sanchez.
Sanchez, right? Yeah.
Okay.
And then here we have a nice shot of quarterback Danny TJ Ramirez, was it? Coach Casa and Estrada working the headsets. I think that's a pretty cool picture. That's the Jordan Downs project in the background.
Good times.
That's right.
Here we have Manuel Esparza. That's a really nice shot.
Manuel.
All City running back.
He hit in 14 games. He had 2,000 something yards that year.
Wow.
It's amazing.
And,
yeah, I wish he was on. One of the things and he was a phenomenal running back and fast and quick and jolty. And, you know, one of the things that I don't hear people talk enough about him is his blocking.
He had loose hips.
I think he had the best blocking as a running back.
He was a good blocker
in a long time. I mean, he'd follow you downfield and push people out the way even after you've been tackled. So, you know, if you ever watch films and watch him as a blocking running back, he does phenomenal.
You know what, Norman? You're right, because he on Belly X, he was a blocker, the lead blocker for Robert, and he would hit that linebacker pretty damn hard. You're right. You did too. All our running backs blocked. You had to, except for Robert. Everybody blocked. Everybody did.
Bum, this is you, 75.
That's me and Steve right there.
Coach, could you elaborate on the blue?
Hector and I talked a lot about it actually, and we knew it was one of the colors. It came out, you know, it would often be the outline on the emblems and different things for Roosevelt. So on the fire R2, some of the fires I saw had blue in it. So I decided we wanted alternate uniforms. We always did. So we said, well, let's go with the blue one. Once Hector was on board, since he was always the Roosevelt representative we would go to, we went with it, and we had these made. They had cardinal trim around the. Yeah, I think we went 8-0 in them, or something like that. But we never lost him.
Okay. Should I wear them all year?
Angel. Joe. He's in Texas, I think.
Angel Cruz, in particular. And so it's one of the things in the hood. I always say, you know, football, it's not recreational, man. It saves lives in some cases. It turns people around. And him and Steve are both examples of someone like that. You know, you grab their hearts with the football, and then you can teach life lessons.
Awesome recognition here.
So you guys were the inaugural team to play the East LA Classic at the Coliseum. This clipping was shared by Davila.
You know, it had a lot to do with economics. The schools were angry with ELAC because they felt they were taking too much of the share. They weren't making enough money off the game, and that's why it got moved there. So it was one of those type of situations, really. But it was great. I mean, it was awesome coming out of that tunnel, to be honest with you. I imagine the kids feel the same way. The fellas, I should say.
Absolutely. I can only speak for myself, but, you know, I mean, having the opportunity to walk down the tunnel that these Hall of Famers have had the opportunity to go down and play on the same field. I mean, we were big fans of USC to begin with. You know, we watched them on TV many times, and we rarely, someone in our position rarely got to see what it was like to actually be in an environment like that. And that was extremely joyful, and that was amazing, walking in with all those fans screaming. And I mean, there's just no other feeling that I felt of excitement.
It was awesome. Hector, wasn't it you and Eddie that got the smoke machine too? I mean, we really did a good job.
Yeah, let me touch a little bit from the side of being alumni and playing in 3 games, varsity at ELAC. You hear the guys are giving me a rough time for not helping them wash dishes right now. But it was one of those things addressing the Coliseum. Like when we had that opportunity, I looked at it from the standpoint, I'd love to take the boys and have that opportunity. I wouldn't be the one to say no or like kind of buck the system here. So being alumni, I kind of felt like, hey man, I know it doesn't feel like ELAC because we would probably, pack that thing out, but the Coliseum is going to be a different experience for them. So I was kind of for it and kind of just on that standpoint. The things we did to make it a once in a lifetime experience.
Right.
And let me tell you guys something. Eddie, if you guys didn't know, was my best man in my wedding. And to this day, I love him to death. And the things he did for the boys while I was there, he was kind of tied to my hip pocket through this whole thing. Just as a good friend to me, and then became good friends to the rest of the staff and very entrusted with a lot of things and had a lot of insight to what we were doing and was kind of also in my ear in a roundabout way about things, whether it was football related or not. But for that, I took Eddie at his word. And when he wanted to do something for the boys, it was, if under the, people would never know how much each coach always pulls out their wallet to pay for something that could never be covered by some other fund. And Eddie always, was kind of there for that, and he did get some of that stuff to, I forget what they were like, it was like a, state-of-the-art fog machine, and
it was a lot of fun.
He wanted, like, he was like that guy that just kind of choreographed everything, even though I didn't want Jose to know a lot of what was going on because that's not his job. But I also wanted this experience more so Eddie did for the boys to have a once in a lifetime experience at the Coliseum. But it wasn't just there. It was anywhere we played.
That's right.
He was always there and entrusted, like I said, on our sideline, in our locker room, and did some tremendous things, just like Norman said earlier, that highlight video that he has done, that they're just things that the kids will cherish forever. All I have is a couple, VHS tapes of a couple cut up game films that, holy smokes, I try to tell my son, that's me. He laughs, he walks away. You gotta be kidding me, But anyways, for what it's worth, Will, I mean, not only for you guys, that first video he did for you guys, but the years in after, good, bad, or indifferent, he made everybody have that internal love, not only for the team, but for the school and the community that they played for. I mean, I can't say enough thanks for Eddie to this day for everything he did. So
he was part of the staff, Hector, really,
Yeah, and I think that you guys as the players, I think probably felt like, hey man, that was like the highlight of the end of the year, was obviously everything coming together at that banquet. And when they saw that video, it was like pretty cool to see. And I think the one that really touched home obviously was the Steven Delgado video that he did a really good job. And I think, it was a gut punch, but it was something where we had to just kind of close it behind us, have some closure to everything. And it ended up the way it did. But I think he did a fantastic job in putting that together. So for what it's worth and what part he played through the years that we were there, if he sees this, I'd like to thank him very much. And again, it's a collaborative effort between everybody who was involved.
And you know what, let me just say this. What nobody knows, I know a little bit of it, but is the amount of time you and Eddie put in to make those videos. In fact, I think Hector, you even bought a computer at one point, did you not, to be able to make it? I mean, that's what made that era successful, because it was all about effort. Everybody was taking their job seriously, even with all the shenanigans that we just touched the surface of earlier. Yeah. It was all business. We were there to get a goal, to get a goal done. And that I don't think anything exemplifies more than the effort you guys put in after the season was done. So, I mean, it's not exactly like it's fun. I remember you were telling me, like, man, it's a lot of work. And it would take them months, a couple months to do this, hours after work, after work for free. And that's what made that era magical for me. It really, really, really does.
It's a great picture. We got the senior captains, number 4, Hernandez, number 41, Smith, 15, Pastrana, Farza. I really love this shot.
I remember when Casa told me, hey, how do you like to play the Classic at the Coliseum? And I remember thinking, nah, that's not going to happen.
It's kind of weird.
It did, and then it started working the way in. Then you told everybody, and I was like, oh shit, we're gonna play at the Coliseum. Then I remember the next memory I have is coming out of the tunnel, and through all that smoke, coming out of the tunnel through all that smoke. Yeah, a lot of smoke running out of the tunnel. And then the other memory I have at the Coliseum was halftime, coming out at halftime, and seeing an enormous wave of fans on the stadium. It just gives you the chills. I still remember that wave coming out of the tunnel and seeing so many people at the Coliseum. It was crazy.
You know what I remember too was the day before the actual Classic, the press conference, when we went out there, and they interviewed me, and I was cocky as hell saying that we were gonna win 41-0.
41-0.
And then I guess it was written on the paper or something. Casa got a hold of it that morning, came into the locker room all pissed off, saying that we were giving the other team ammo to get pumped up. And I was so like caught within my own self. And guess what? We won 41-0.
Yeah, that was
I remember that game that we ran one play on our first drive. I think it was a power for a touchdown. Manuel Esparza went in untouched. Beautiful. One play, touchdown. And that was the game. We won it on that first play.
Yeah.
We have Ruben Burgueño. And I believe number 10 was Flores.
Yes, sir.
Flores.
There's Norman.
There he is.
He couldn't tippy-toe down the sideline. He stepped out of bounds.
No footwork, bud. Break down.
Well, actually, I had so 2 situations like this during that game. So the first one was the fumble recovery that I ran back that was called back because Pastrana clipped. And then I think this was the hitch and go.
That's what it was.
Guy nicked me, and I think back, and I wish I would have just tried to dive or something, but I was trying to hold on as long as I can.
Well, we just summarized. It's pretty cool. I'll read it, guys. This is a chance to be on the field where some great players have played. Even though it's so big, you have the jumbo screen, the lights, and the crowd. Everything just pumps you up. Roosevelt looked that way from the outset. The Rough Riders were ahead 20-0 at halftime, and it could have been worse if the Rough Riders had taken advantage of several opportunities. Garfield had possession first, but lost it when running back Rafael Nunez fumbled and Norman Waters picked up the ball and ran 60 yards for an apparent touchdown. Roosevelt, however, was called for clipping on the return and had to settle for a first down at the Garfield 23.
That's funny, huh?
On Roosevelt's first offensive play, Esparza ran off right tackle on a counter and dashed to the end zone for a touchdown 97 seconds into the game. Roosevelt scored its final touchdown on the half with 2:07 left on a 56-yard touchdown pass from quarterback Ramirez to Esparza. It's pretty
belly
cool.
Pass, I think. I think it was belly pass, no, Hector?
Man, you got a good memory, brother.
I think.
I got Alzheimer's disease, bud.
I remember.
We got Coach Caesar Trio. Is that Steve?
Villalobos.
Yeah, Lobos.
Villalobos.
Okay.
Efrain.
I really like this one too. The young
I've never
Norman,
seen this picture.
the babyface killer.
Look at Ruben too. He looks so young.
That's a good pick.
That's a good picture.
I like that one. And Casa pointed it out when he shared it to me that he really likes that one because it has the scoreboard in the back. You could.
This is one of my favorites.
That's a great picture.
Absolutely.
And then we have Jody. This was, I believe, the year
You can see
after.
Johnny's definitely was doing his workout then.
What I like to point out is this is where Jody, paid his dues. The guy played, for SC obviously, but hey, on this team he was just a young pup. So I think all of you guys are responsible for Jody being successful. Hell yeah!
I love Jody. I ran into him so many times at the USC after he graduated, at the USC UCLA game, which they're playing right now. He's I would never had imagined he's doing what he's doing right now. If you guys don't know, he's a psychologist and he's awesome at it. But knowing him from where he came a long way, man. I'm so proud of that guy. Besides the football field, what he's doing now is amazing. If you guys don't know about him, look him up. He has his doctorates. He's writing children's books. He's doing amazing things. I love that guy.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I ran into him about a month ago right in front of his house. We were driving between Eagle Rock, where we live, to South Pass to go to a coffee shop we like there. And he was on the street walking a little dog. And I recognized him, pulled over, gave him a hug, we talked for a minute. It was cool.
This clip of Steve, we've all seen it, but obviously I think in hindsight, the season was dedicated to him. And I didn't want to make it all about him because then we would have needed a lot of tissues. Heading into the championship game, obviously the game was dedicated to him. You guys had the black stripes in the middle. Got Bobby Morales. That's a powerful picture right here. This pic kind of summarizes, that night.
You know what? I'll say one thing that I can't tell that story without breaking down. And I told on December 3rd, I told one of my periods the story because again, my whole thing was I didn't want Steve to just be another statistic, right? Because seemed in the 90s and stuff, you would have 2-3 kids die every year and nobody ever heard about it. So when that went down, it was so traumatic that I really wanted his name to move on. So every year I tell the story to somebody. You know what I'm saying? And it's never easy.
I just find it fascinating that 84, 85, obviously Hector, they won the championship. 15 years to that was 2000. You guys went to the championship. And then almost another 20 years, 2018, we have Coach Aldo here that led his Rough Riders to the championship. So I just think you don't plan these things. It's just how the universe works. And I think it's pretty special that we're all still connected. But yeah, Coach, like I said, anything you want to add or any questions you have, Aldo?
The one thing I will say is, I was obviously teaching at Roosevelt at the time. And I remember this team. I remember all you guys. I remember Robert Smith beating up some guy right by the garage. And remember that, Robert? And Robert, I told Robert, I go, hey, Robert, what happened? And Robert said the guy was talking smack. And I told the kid, I go, what happened? Was that what you were doing? And the kid goes, yeah. I go, all right, fuck it, let's go, get out of here. And Robert, Robert was scared. He thought I was going to turn him in, and then I'm not going to turn his ass in, and you guys as a team, you guys set a real high standard, and it's a standard that every team since has tried to, try to reach your level. I know for a fact that as good as Hector's teams were, as good as those Roosevelt teams were, the 84, 85, you know, you guys were stacked, man. You guys, you know, I think you guys beat a lot of ball clubs, and I would argue that you guys are definitely some of the that whole Casa Grande era was a very special time. It was a very special time at Roosevelt, and the expectation was that you guys were going to win. Roosevelt was going to win, and you know, there was some incredible players on that squad, and I look at your staff, Jose, and you had some really good people. You had some really good people, and you guys set an incredible bar for many years. You know, for teams years down the line. You know, even after I'm done, teams are going to want to reach that level, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. But from an outsider's perspective, you guys were a team,
Yeah.
and you guys bonded extremely well. You had a great staff and a great leader that took you guys to a level that Roosevelt. It's going to be a long time, you know, if ever, for Roosevelt to reach that point. Like I said, you know, Hector's teams, the teams I played on, your guys' teams, the teams I just finished coaching, you know, everybody, right? We all go in the book. At the end of the day, we all go in the book, and you know, we're all connected. You know, like I really had a lot of fun seeing Hector come up on the screen, you know, because I've known Hector since high school, you know, and I remember admiring him, you know, playing ball in high school, you know, and just, you know, even like seeing Norman. I don't know if Norman knows, but you know, his wife Sylvia, you know, she was one of my students, and there's like all these connections that we all got, you know. When Will asked me to host the Zoom meeting for you guys, I had no reason to say no. I mean, if anything, I was excited because I get thrills listening to these stories, you know, because this is what it should be, you know, us sharing and talking about what we did and what we accomplished. And like I said, gentlemen, you guys did some incredible things, and you guys should be really proud of yourselves. Not just for what you did on the field, but, you know, for all the things you guys did afterwards, you know, like right now I'm looking, and you guys all have, you know, you guys are in nice homes, right? I saw someone picking up their daughter a moment ago, and obviously, you know, you guys are fathers now, and it's cool, you know, and I think Jose, I hope I get to look back on the guys later on that I coached, and I'm able to have them come on and say great things about what I taught them, you know, and you know, I just, that's all I got to say from an outsider's perspective. You know, it was really good watching you guys every Friday night, and I knew you guys were going to do well. You know, that I never doubted you guys were going to win. We're going to win, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say.
Casa, Hector, and everybody else as well, Arnie, because that guidance that you gave us during that time was so crucial for many of us. So as you continue to do it with other children, or not children, other kids, you know, it's monumental. And I appreciate everything as far as giving us at that time. That pride, that courage, that honor was so much to me. So thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I got more from you guys than you got from me, trust.
You're welcome, Robert. And, you know, we'll figure it out. Will or Aldo's got to do something, put everybody together. We'll figure it out, man. When this junk is over with and we can move forward from this, there's definitely an opportunity waiting, not just for, you know, the boys that are on this screen now, but, you know, as many as we can get out there and take a look at. Like the guys are saying, you know, there's so many guys that are out there doing their own thing, families, great jobs. I mean, to me, it's very encouraging to see that I had, or Casa had, or Aldo had, somebody had an impact on all you guys. So it's pretty cool to see. And for that, you know, it gives me enough gratification to know that, you know, it was all worthwhile. And it's pretty cool to see.
I agree, Hector.
Yeah.
It makes it worthwhile, guys. So I really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Peace out.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Till the next time.
Till next time, for sure.